Tonight on To The Point.
State Republican lawmakers trying to force a vote on what they call a hidden gas tax. What is it and where it stands?
Plus 3 years since the start of the war in Ukraine, as President Trump vows to end the conflict.
It could lead to World War III if it's not solved.
Tonight, how the Sacramento community is marking the solemn anniversary. National park workers at Yosemite expressing concerns.
I am definitely worried for the future.
The gesture over the weekend going viral. And Sacramento's Black Child Legacy campaign marks 10 years. Tonight, the progress made and challenges still faced saving young lives.
Good evening. As always, thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. And tonight, Republican lawmakers say they tried to force a vote to stop what they call a hidden gas tax here in California. Months ago, California's Air Resources Board amended the low carbon fuel standard that has since drawn criticism for it possibly raising gas prices. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen has been following this story for months and shares what happened at the Capitol today.
The motion to suspend the Constitution fails.
During Monday's Assembly floor session, state lawmakers were asked to vote on whether or not they should bypass the Constitution to just bring a bill to a floor vote without public input.
Here we go again, paying more for gas, more for affordability, more for California.
The bill, AB 12, was co-authored by Assemblymember Jeff Gonzalez. He says if passed, would void all the amendments made to the state's low carbon fuel standard, or LCFS, in November.
And we need to make sure that with any one of our affordability bills, that they bring money right back into the pocket of family members of working class Californians across the state.
In November, the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, passed amendments to the state's LCFS. It allows major polluters like oil companies to buy credits to prevent them from being penalized from the state for polluting the air. Some predict it would raise the gas prices as much as 65 cents per gallon, something the executive officer of CARB has denied.
If the LCFS passes next week, will gas costs rise? And my response was, no, I don't expect them to.
Just last week, the Office of Administrative Law disapproved of the current version of the LCFS, saying it lacked clarity and didn't follow proper procedures. The California Air Resources Board says it will work to address these issues. A CARB spokesperson would not comment on AB 12 today, but says data from a third party shows gas prices would only increase by 8 to 10 cents per gallon. For now, Gonzalez says he'll continue to fight for affordability.
Yeah, we'll continue to work together as a caucus and find different ways to make California affordable again for the residents of California.
The bill will now head to the Assembly Natural Resources Committee for its next hearing.
All right, Jeannie Nguyen, our resident CARB expert here. Thanks for joining us.
Service.
Yes. All right, so seriously though, with AB 12 heading to the Natural Resources Committee, what does this really mean for CARB and how they're going to address the LCFS too?
Well, Alex, right now there's still no hearing date for AB 12, but as far as working with the Office of Administrative Law, CARB will resubmit rules to the LCFS in the next 120 days starting last week, and any changes would require a delay, including a period of public comment.
I think it goes without saying. You already know Jeannie's going to be following this for you. Jeannie, thank you so much. All right, so there is new accountability measures for communities receiving state funding for homelessness efforts. Governor Gavin Newsom today rolled out a new tool that compiles locally reported data so anyone in the state can see the progress their city is making and also learn more about funding. And it comes after an audit last year found California spent nearly $25 billion on homelessness and housing over a 5-year period and inconsistently tracked and evaluated the outcomes of those efforts. Newsom says this new tool will help with accountability and transparency.
We want to make sure this is a dynamic tool and it actually adds value, gives people meaning, gives them a little more sense of confidence that good things are happening at the local level, but not everywhere. And why we're calling out those, this is calling balls and strikes. And if we see that red, we got to call you out.
The state also announced around $160 million in funding to local governments to support homelessness efforts. Governor Newsom has formally requested nearly $40 billion in federal aid to help Los Angeles recover from January's devastating wildfires. In a 14-page letter sent to congressional leaders, Newsom says the money would go towards rebuilding houses, infrastructure, businesses, schools, churches, and also healthcare facilities. Republican lawmakers have previously said that they should put conditions on wildfire money. They have yet to respond to Newsom's request. Tonight marks 3 years since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The conflict, which began with a brutal assault on Ukraine's sovereignty, has led to immense loss and hardship. Tonight, a rally is being held at the state capitol to honor the resilience of Ukraine's people and also to reflect on the tragic toll of this war. And that is exactly where ABC 10's Garshpal Sangha joins us live with more.
Yeah, Alex, millions of people have been affected, and this war continues to shape countless lives in Ukraine and across the globe. But here at the California State Capitol, on the west steps of the California State Capitol, hundreds of people are here for this event as people continue to stand in solidarity with the Ukraine, and the Ukrainian community in the Sacramento area stands in solidarity with those who have sought refuge here in the capital city. And the energy here is somber as people gather to mark 3 years since Russia's invasion. The rally, organized by the Ukrainian American House, along with several other community groups, is a reminder of the devastation this conflict has caused not only in Ukraine but around the world. And tonight, those gathered here are not only honoring those who have lost their lives, but also showing support for Ukrainian refugees who have made their communities here in the capital city.
To the American people, so Ukrainian problem, it's not only Ukrainian problem, it's a global problem. Because history, remember Hitler rise, and later when world ignored, it was way bigger damage.
And many people here are hoping Americans continue to support Ukraine as this becomes Europe's largest conflict since World War II. And this impact continues to be felt on a global scale. And back out here live, what you're taking a look at right there is the dome of the state capitol. The blue and yellow, those are the Ukraine's flag colors. So the state capitol continued to support Ukraine, and that is what a lot of people are hoping, that America continues to support Ukraine. So this event's going to wrap up around 8, but we're going to have much more on tonight at 11. Reporting live from the state capitol, Garshpal Sangha, ABC 10.
Garshpal, thank you so much. And in a dramatic shift tonight, the U.S. is split with its European allies in the United Nations, refusing to blame Russia for its invasion of Ukraine and votes on 3 resolutions seeking to end the 3-year war. Meanwhile, President Trump and French President Emmanuel Macron meeting today in the Oval Office. Macron is trying to convince Trump not to abandon Ukraine after a shift in U.S. support. Trump says he believes the war will be over within weeks.
Could lead to World War III if it's not solved. You know, there'll be a point at which it's not going to stop at those 2 countries.
Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky meeting with world leaders in Kyiv today. Trump says a meeting with him could happen as early as this week as the U.S. continues to push for access to revenue from Ukraine's natural resources. The money could be used to help pay back the U.S.'s investment in the war. Still ahead, onto the point, national park workers expressing concerns amid federal layoffs. Tonight, the gesture that's been grabbing the nation's attention.
A really nice week of weather, very spring-like this week with highs in the 70s. It doesn't last for that long, though. Changes on the horizon. I've got the forecast after the break.
Plus, how a taxpayer-funded initiative has been saving the lives of babies, kids, and teens throughout Sacramento County, and the challenges still ahead. All right, let's jump straight into your forecast with meteorologist Brendan Minchef. It's pretty nice outside, I have to say. Everyone's here for the Kings game. I don't really see too many people wearing jackets, but
it was nice this weekend, too.
It was warm,
Yeah, it's been warm. It's a little taste of spring, like I was saying on Friday, right? A little bit of a taste of spring, and how different it has been from much of the month of February. We had a couple of days early in the month that were approaching middle 60s territory, but then look at the stretch of 50s we had. And then just over the last really 4, maybe 5 days, you can make the argument, we've had these temperatures upper 60s, even some low 70s, made it to 71 downtown on Saturday. So yeah, very different what we have right now from what we've had for much of February. We're in the 60s currently, so if you're headed off to the Kings game or anywhere else tonight, you may want a jacket for afterwards. But honestly, it is not that chilly out there. 60 in Sacramento, 60 in Elk Grove, 63 Stockton, 62 Manteca and Modesto, 55 Jackson, 50 in Placerville, 43 in Truckee. Through the next few hours, by about 9 o'clock, we'll be 55 degrees. We'll have some cloud cover with us through the rest of the evening. Some fog is expected in the valley tomorrow morning, so keep that in mind. 46 in Sacramento, early Tuesday, 47 in Stockton, 49 Modesto, 44 in Placerville, 23 in Truckee, 27 Up in South Lake Tahoe, tomorrow afternoon, we'll do it again. Mostly sunny and warm, upper 60s and low 70s, running about 5 degrees above average for the time of year. Over the next 7 days, we are going to see more spring-like weather in those low 70s through about Saturday. Then we're going to transition to a cooler pattern and likely a wetter pattern as well as showers return to the forecast. High pressure in our weather pattern for now, but that moves out. That opens the door for a couple of passing low pressures. And again, that means pattern change is on the way. 70s for now. We'll enjoy it, but then 60s next week, Alex.
All right, Brendan, thank you. Next, on to the point. Sacramento's Black Child Legacy campaign is marking 10 years. Tonight, the progress made and the challenges of saving young lives. Plus, as the Trump administration announces more federal layoffs, tonight, former Yosemite workers are expressing their concerns. Welcome back in. Let's get into the federal workers layoffs. Tonight, the Office of Personnel Management is retracting the ultimatum given by Elon Musk, demanding that federal workers provide their accomplishments from last week or face potential termination. And it comes as at least 1,600 more USAID staffers were told that they were fired today. The email sent Saturday gave a deadline of 11:59 tonight for workers to reply with 5 bullet points or risk being terminated. This afternoon, the OPM informed federal agencies that the responses to the email would be voluntary and that not responding would not be considered a voluntary resignation. Unions representing federal workers have amended an existing lawsuit against the Trump administration to include the recent email, arguing it's unlawful. Fallout continues tonight after the Trump administration fired 1,000 newly hired National Park Service employees whose roles include cleaning and maintaining parks and education. One gesture, though, over the weekend in Yosemite has been grabbing the nation's attention.
In photos going viral, an upside-down American flag hanging from Yosemite National Park's famous El Capitan rock wall near Horsetail Fall. Photographer Brittany Colt sharing these photos with ABC 10 a little more than a week after Yosemite National Park employees were fired, saying these jobs are extremely important for safety and future generations. Among those terminated at Yosemite,
Yosemite is really just the true center of the universe for climbers.
Oleg Chamara, a climber working as a custodian at the park for almost a year. He believes maintenance problems at the park will grow.
Myself and the only other custodian was terminated here for the Wawona area, so everything from South Entrance to Glacier Point. What's going to happen is no one's going to be there to pick up the trash. I mean, you'd be amazed with how many diapers I pick up off the side of the road, beer bottles, toilet paper.
Andrea Townsend was a carnivore specialist with the National Park Service.
I oversaw the research projects that were happening in Yosemite for both fishers and Sierra Nevada red fox, both of which are federally endangered carnivore species.
She's concerned about wildlife at the park.
It's a really uncertain time for those of us who care about conservation and public lands, so I am definitely worried for the future.
Worries shared by climbers and ex-employees who reportedly hung this flag 3,000 feet above the Yosemite Valley for the country to see.
Facing backlash, the Trump administration plans to restore at least 50 jobs across the parks. The Park Service says that they will hire more seasonal workers than normal. February is Black History Month, and for a full decade now, a taxpayer-funded initiative has been saving the lives of babies, kids, and teens throughout Sacramento County, and it's called the Black Child Legacy Campaign. ABC 10's Becca Habecker shows us the impact that it's had over the last 10 years and also what the future holds.
Ready? Yeah. It's Tournament Tuesday at Liberty Towers Youth Center. Here in Sacramento County's Foothill Farms neighborhood, the nonprofit organization Impact SAC runs an after-school hangout space for teens.
We have good role models here, people that are staff, volunteers, community leaders come together and they get to experience different perspectives from different people.
Paris Dye is managing director of Impact SAC. She's also a leader with the Black Child Legacy Campaign. That's a Sacramento County initiative now 10 years strong, focused on reducing preventable deaths of Black youth.
There was data released about 10 years ago from Sacramento County's Child Death Review Team pointing out that African American children here in Sacramento are dying at more than twice the rate of other children.
Shelley Jones is Managing Director of Local Initiatives with the Center at Sierra Health Foundation, which facilitates the Black Child Legacy Campaign.
We do believe that if there weren't a Black Child Legacy Campaign, that things would look different within the community.
The campaign focuses on 4 areas where Black youth are dying from preventable deaths at disproportionately high rates, including perinatal conditions, infant sleep-related deaths, child abuse and neglect, and third-party homicides. In its 10 years, the Black Child Legacy Campaign says it has exceeded its goals in 3 of these 4 areas.
The impact has been incredible.
According to the most recent data, Sacramento County has seen an overall 17% reduction in Black child deaths since the inception of the initiative. 24% reduction in deaths related to perinatal conditions, 37% reduction in infant sleep-related deaths, and 63% reduction in child abuse and neglect deaths. When it comes to third-party homicides, there have been wins and now challenges. The Black Child Legacy Campaign celebrated 2 consecutive years of 0 youth homicides in 2018 and 2019. But then the pandemic hit, which leaders say contributed to a rise in violence locally and nationwide.
A lot of those positive, safe gathering spaces that just were not open to the public for over a year made it challenging to be able to connect and engage with the youth in the way that we typically would. And that definitely contributed to not being able to prevent as many youth homicides.
The most recent available data show a 38% increase in third-party homicides since the launch of the Black Child Legacy Campaign. But the long-lasting effects of the pandemic on youth violence could be coming to an end, Shelley says.
From December to January, this was the first holiday break that we did not have any youth homicides in a very long time. So that was really exciting.
So how does the Black Child Legacy Campaign work specifically? A decade ago, leaders identified 7 communities where the data said Black youth death disparities were the highest and designated one nonprofit community-based organization to be the lead in each area. Impact SAC is the lead organization in the Foothill Farms North Highlands community.
It's been incredible, just being able to provide a safety net throughout the county of community providers together, and having a common thread, of the Black Child Legacy Campaign that brings us all together.
In each of the 7 areas, a whole network of different community-based organizations work to serve the campaign's mission, from intervening in incidents of gang violence to teaching and encouraging safe sleep for newborns.
One of the leading causes of death in African American communities for young children is SIDS-related deaths or sudden sleep-related deaths that are unexplained, but sometimes often caused by co-sleeping or not having a child that's sleeping alone. We use the ABCs of sleep, which is making sure your baby's alone, on their back, and laying in their crib.
It's a mission that became even more personal for Shelley after the birth of her son last year.
Just to ensure that things are, safe, he's able to thrive and be healthy, and the same thing that we want for our child is what we really want for all Black children in Sacramento and everywhere.
Leaders say helping Black youth helps everybody.
Now, when children are born in Sacramento County, the hospital will ask, do you have a safe place to sleep your baby? And if not, any family, regardless of race, they are sent home with a pack and play to sleep their child.
Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Now, after a successful decade of work, the Black Child Legacy Campaign is setting its next long-term goals.
Tangible outcomes, increase in school attendance, increases in grades, and staying longer in their households, finding places to build stable homes.
I asked Paris, who has been with the Black Child Legacy Campaign since the beginning, what motivates her to continue the work.
The wins are when the days are great, of course, but what motivates me is the senseless tragedies that occur, the actual preventable deaths of all children in our neighborhood.
She's focused on a future where Black youth don't just remain alive, but are on a path to thrive. In Sacramento County, Becca Habiger, ABC 10.
The Black Child Legacy Campaign offers free programming all over the county. So if you want more information, make sure you head to our website, abc10.com. And coming up tomorrow on To The Point, the Sacramento State Hornets are buzzing about their new head football coach, Brennan Marion. He's making his history as the first Black head coach at Sac State. Tomorrow at 6:30 on To the Point, you're going to hear our conversation with him. Chris Thomas sat down to talk to him about his signature go-go offense style and Sac State's push to transition to FBS, which is the highest level of college football. And you can also watch all of our Black History Month stories on the ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. You can find them on the Race and Culture playlist under the News tab. You can download the free app on your TV completely for free, or you can just scan the QR code that's on your screen right now. If you see it in the corner, go ahead. Look, before we go here tonight, we know that a lot is going on in the world. So if you have a question or you want some more information, feel free to always reach out to our team. You can always email us at tothepoint@abc10.com. Thank you so much for watching, for inviting us into your home. Don't forget, you can always download us for free on the ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app.